Hello, everyone, and welcome to Hijab 101, where I give you some tips and tricks to make wearing the hijab a little bit less daunting. Let's start off with what we're going to talk about today: understanding the debate around the hijab, intention and moral worth, understanding the benefit of wearing the hijab, confidence and adjustment, and lastly, the acceptance of reality. So let's dive right into it. Understanding the debate around the hijab is important because you need to know where you stand on this because of how the scripture is written in an old version of Arabic. People have debated whether this is putting the hijab over your head and covering your bosoms or lowering the hijab and covering your bosoms. Regardless of what the scripture says, you need to know where you stand on it because this is how you're going to understand your intention and moral worth. So this brings me to my next point. Wearing the hijab alone is not going to be your ticket into heaven, okay? Your character and your morale matters, and understanding the debate will have you understanding your intention towards the hijab. This removes resentment from why you made this decision. So if you understand the benefit of this, then it is a lot easier to not have that resentment and instead know why you're doing it. So for example, in my case, I am doing it because I understand the benefit of it. I don't think that it is, I don't put it on, I'm going to hell thing. I think that it is suggested because there is benefit to it, just the same way that other things that are labeled as haram, like drinking or smoking or fornicating, are labeled haram for a reason because it is to my benefit when I don't do them. So the same way with the hijab, I do believe that. And that brings us to our next point, understanding the benefit of it. So once you've decided to wear the hijab, you understand the benefit of it, and that ends up removing the resentment that you have towards the decision. And it makes it a lot easier to explain to somebody why you're making that decision rather than just it's written in the Quran. You have to understand why you've made that decision yourself. So this also brings me to my next point, which is confidence and adjustment. Once you make this decision, your confidence will dip, unfortunately. And it may not be with everybody, but it does sometimes take a little bit of adjusting to get used to what you see in the mirror as your normal daily self now. You have taken a part of you that has really beautified yourself your whole life, and that is some getting used to. It's the same thing as when people shave their head and they want to build that confidence to see what the outside vessel really holds isn't who they are. So you need to also have a personality and things outside of this hair and your physical appearance. My last point is accepting reality. Unfortunately, this day and age, there is just so many people who are going to state their opinion, whether it's online or even in person sometimes, if they're confident enough. But you have to understand that it's just the reality. You're going to have people who love it and you're going to have people who hate it. But you've made that decision for things outside of society, things outside of your control. So you really have to own it and accept that. If I was wearing anime like cosplay out in real life, I would have to accept the looks that I get. It's same thing as it when I was somebody who was, the word is mostrona in Spanish, but like if you were promiscuous or like revealing, you have to be willing to accept the reality that there are going to be people who love it, there's going to be people who hate it. But if that's the choice that you chose, then walk the talk, don't just talk it, okay? So now that we understand the basics of this decision that you're about to make, watch part 2 to understand some other tips and tricks on how to go about this